This is a PowerPoint presentation, but I'm also using ScreenFlow. ScreenFlow allows you to capture all of the movements on your computer when you are doing a project. One of the things about this is it is ultimately a PowerPoint presentation, so you have to organize it. It's a visual essay, and it does have distinct sections to each one that you would think about, along with all the other guidelines that I gave you on the sheet. One of the things about this is it shows you how you can input graphics. The bottom right-hand corner of this shows you how you would credit that graphic. And this particular one came from NPR, and about how the poor, middle class, and the rich spend their money. So while the graphic's up, you would be telling the class something about why you chose this and what that actually means. Another example, this one is also from NPR. It's about household debt. And again, you would have to make some kind of a comment about it and how it fits into your presentation. This particular one is a map of the Euro area, which you would use to explain what the yellow means, what the blue means, how many members there are, how many it started with, and what that actually talks about in regards to the growth of the EU over this last period of time. Spain is an EU member, and Spain has a lot of issues. The next slide is going to have a screen, has a soundbite in it. There's a link to an NPR news clip on Spain.
Now let's catch up on a vote in Catalonia, Spain's most economically powerful region. That region gave overwhelming support to pro-independence parties in elections on Sunday. This election is seen as a threat to Spain's political and financial stability. So we're going to talk about this with NPR's Sylvia Poggioli. She is in the most famous city in Catalonia, Barcelona. And Sylvia, we did say that there were pro-independence parties. Who exactly won these elections?
Well, all the pro-independence parties won together a big majority, but the ruling party, Convergence and Unity, or CIU, which called an early election in the hopes of winning an absolute majority, was punished, and it lost 12 of its 62 seats. Its leader, Artur Mas, was a recent convert to independence, but he's also the politician who's inflicted harsh austerity measures on Catalonia. The surprise result was the Republican left, which has always been stridently pro-independence. It doubled its vote to 20 seats. So the underlying message is that the majority of Catalans are sick and tired of that their taxes are being siphoned off by the central Spanish government and that they get little in return. They're convinced that independence would help them get out of the worst crisis in their history.
This particular soundbite went on. I chose not to use the entire thing, but you would have to have listened to it and determined where you wanted to stop and the message that you wanted to convey to people, and then pick up from there as you go on. So as I go to the next one, this is going to be a video. The first screen sets it up, the Greek debt crisis. You'd be talking about an overview of the issue that's happening in Greece, if this were your presentation. This now is going to link to another site, to this video site right here, CBS News, but I actually have, and one of the problems with this is if you do it that way, then you have to obviously live through the 30-second commercial. So another way that you can do it is can close that, have a link open in the background, which is the better way to do it, and then play this. This is 2 minutes long.
Debt, the trouble reaches far and wide, and that's what's happening now with Greece. Anthony Mason reports that the government replaced its finance minister today to stave off a modern Greek tragedy.
Greece's cabinet.
I'm going to stop that. So when he said that about today, well, obviously you'd have to know when this was made, whether or not it's still relevant, and what portion of it you would like to use. You see it runs for 2 minutes. So you could actually stop it just as I'm doing, talk about it, fast forward it, have another link open someplace further down. So that is something that you would have to decide how you're going to do it. So I'm going to come back to the PowerPoint presentation, and we're back on that slide. And I'll just hit the return, more info on Greece, whatever you want to say. And that ultimately is how you would use ScreenFlow, which you see down here on the bottom. You also see it up the top here. I've been recording this. So I'm going to stop